So how do I use AI as a contractor? Number one rule is that not all clients use AI or allow AI, and if that's the case, then I have to respect that. Also, some clients will have a list of allowed AI tools that we can use, and I have to adhere to that. But let's say, for example, I've been given the green light. How do I use AI in the most effective way as a contractor writing code? So the number one rule that I have is that I won't allow AI to produce the code. I will allow AI to explain the code and fill in the gaps, but I don't vibe code my way through the features and just tick off the acceptance criteria. At the end of the day, the contractor needs to be proud of the work that they produce. And it's not a case of just copying off of a computer. So let's say, for example, I was writing a bunch of tests and I didn't know how to hook certain parts of the system together. I would use AI to explain how I would do that. Perhaps AI would produce a series of mocks, a series of doubles, test doubles and stubs on how I can actually mock out the data or mock out a service or something like that. And then I would use that as a template for future tests that I would create. So that's one way of using AI. Another way is to find out how AI would actually name certain things based on the variables or methods or classes or objects that you currently have. Because naming things is very difficult. And if you're using AI and it comes with a whole bunch of other naming conventions, then you have to ask yourself, well, have I actually settled on the best naming convention? So that's pretty useful. Another way is to explain error messages and also explain how to use, say, a public SDK. So for example, if I was given a feature to write and I needed to use an SDK, I could point AI to that SDK to produce a proof of concept or a simulation of how I can use that. I will then tailor that, mold it, reshape it into something that is usable. Half the time when you use AI, it produces you a whole bunch of stinking code that, yes, it might work, but it just looks terrible and it's just so disconnected from other areas of the code base. Maybe you refactor it, maybe you move things into services, that kind of thing. I'm going to say this again, as a contractor, one needs to be proud of the work that they do. And you just have to remember that when you're committing code, you're literally putting your name to the code, okay? So don't just use AI to vibe code your way through life, because that just won't work.